Hi there, my name's Nick, and this is my new YouTube channel. This is my very first episode. Hopefully it's not too poor. I know that I'm going to be saying a lot. I've been doing test footage and stuff like that, and I say all the time, so forgive me for that. I'll try and train myself out of that. Anyways, what's the show about? Well, my channel is going to be about photography, painting, largely landscape painting or painting based on the reference I use photography for, but also some other projects. And then also the content that I use to get the photography and the digital painting. So editing with Luminar Neo, editing with Photoshop, maybe do some paint alongs with Photoshop, which I use for my digital painting. So yeah, that's the content of the channel. But why? Who's my audience? Well, the audience hopefully will be people who are a little bit more like me, may have some expertise, may have some knowledge in various areas, but I'm not a globe-trotting photographer with all high-power equipment, all the latest tech, a huge client list. Something a little bit more approachable. I watch a lot of YouTube videos about anything from tech to hardware to equipment to what's the best camera lens, what is the best settings for photography for night shots, what's the best settings for landscape photography. So many um, YouTubers out there that I watch, and they're great. I love them, but sometimes they can feel a bit overwhelming. And so I just wanted to do a little bit more of a down to earth channel. There I go with the ums again. I wanted to do a bit more of a down to earth channel that people can feel that they can learn something from, but also maybe contribute to. We're learning together. You're not sort of overwhelmed by the fact that I'm in this amazing locale and on the other side of the world every week. If those things sound like something you might be interested in, maybe check out my new introduction video, which I whipped up. Hopefully it's not too bad, it's only short. And then come back here for the topic for the day, which is going to be a photography trek I recently did locally, where I took some photos and did some drone photography. And I'm going to share that with you and the process I used in editing that, this time in Luminar Neo. So here we are, as I mentioned, in Luminar Neo. This is a picture on the trail that I was walking on the way to my photography session, and here there were some wildflowers on the prairie wildflowers, so I thought I'd snap a shot of these. The first thing I do is go into the develop section on the right, and I typically always reduce the highlights, and depending on what I'm shooting, of course, I'll bump up the shadow as I've done here. And then that's a global setting, and then I reintroduce a little bit of the black state in the shadow back in. Typically I'll go in then and introduce some vibrancy overall to the whole image, and I always check these under the optics tab, which are usually good for defringing and things like optic obscurity and lens correction and stuff like that. Then I'll go up into the crop and start to have a look at what the final layout and format of the image might look like. Of course, we're all slavish to the golden thirds rule, so I'm doing that here. I'm not actually slavish to it, but I just set it on a third grid line here, and actually I wanted to zoom in even a little bit closer to get rid of some of that foliage on the left. I think it can be tricky to do things zooming in too much. You start to introduce blur or noise, the detail can be missing, but this isn't going to be for a print probably. So, and Luminar Neo has a really good noise cancellation devices, and it's really good at handling that issue. So, and they have a few settings you can use it with. So when I zoomed in, it looked fine. Here we go with the color. I went back into it, switched to the saturation tab. I wanted to make the orange of this little butterfly stand out, so I've increased that a little bit. Pop up the yellow from the flowers. Same with the purple in the petals on the flowers. And then just to make those colors pop a little bit more, I'll reduce the green and the foliage surrounding those. I can often be found guilty of adding too much green, and sometimes it's hard to stay away from that toxic green look, so sometimes I'll reduce the green. Here we are with super sharpening, and what I'm going to do is paint over the image, the area that I want, using my pen, display tablet pen, which is useful to have for programs like this. And I'll just paint over the area that I want to concentrate on, and then outside of that immediate area I'm gonna blend that in, bleed off, so it's not a jarring sharpness. So you can see here this is the area that's going to be masked off, and then select show, and then I'm going to use the brush to go back in a slightly softer amount, sped it up here a little bit, just to bleed off the sharpness setting that I'm about to adjust. Now, the adjustment's going to be pretty minute, so it's probably going to be a little bit hard to see, but I'll toggle it back and forth here for you so that you can see the difference. I just sped up the amount. It can sometimes take a while for the program to do its thing, but you can just see a little bit of a change before and after. But ultimately, that's what we're talking when we make these changes, is just minute little amounts, and probably such that no one else is even going to notice if I were to put both side by side on the internet. But anyways, here I am under the vignette setting. I usually whack it up really high so I know the shape of the eventual finished result, and I'll lower that down, adjust the shape to my liking and the feathering of the shape, and then I'll reduce it down from the heavy black overlay that was there.
Okay, here's the final result of the prairie flowers picture. Let me know what you think of that in the comments. I've got some more images coming up here that were taken on the way. And then I've got some video of me and the scenery nearby, some B-roll, as they say, and you can see that on the way to the main focus of this video, which was the rail bridge. Okay, I'm back again to show you the final results and the location that we were looking at today, the rail bridge, which is on the outskirts of my town. Thought I'd take some drone footage of the area and give you a nice overhead shot and let you see the area that it takes place in. It's the Bow River that you can see in the video. That's the local river that comes down through the Bow Valley from the mountains and goes past my town. Anyways, you can see the drone footage that I made, and then you can see this is the final version that I took. Just go into picture-in-picture mode. This is the final image I took for the rail bridge from above. I think I did this on an AEB setting, so I did bracketing, and I think I took 3 shots, and then I merged them in the program into one to get that high dynamic range to capture all the highlights and the shadows. And I think this is not, I didn't mind the outcome of this one. I think it went pretty well. So maybe you can let me know what you think of that. I would love to. Oh, and one more thing. I forgot to mention along the way why the name for my journal. Well, because I work on a pen display tablet, the XP Pen. I think it's a 24-inch Artist Pro tablet. I used a stylus pen for that, and then I'm into camera and lenses and all that. So I just thought it was a fun plan. Words, pens and lens. I was gonna go with lens and pens. I didn't know which way around, but I think this works. Yeah, so that was my first video. I hope you got something out of it, and I would love if you can do all those usual, typical YouTube things and like, I don't know, the video, and maybe come back next time I've got a video and check out what I'm doing. Then there'll probably be another talk through of a couple of images I've taken from a tracker height or something, and then the final result. So yeah, if you like that, maybe check that out when I'm back. And thanks for your time and patience with my first video.